So very good afternoon, everyone. We have started with the module number 1, that is overview of project management, and we have tried to understood by the Project Management Institute (PMI) in their handbook, Project Management Body of Knowledge, that is PMBOK. This project management process groups as well as the project management knowledge areas we will be trying to discuss and trying to study with respect to the fifth edition of this project management body of knowledge, which was published with every edition of this project management body of knowledge, which is published by Project Management Institute, that is PMI. So let us move to the diagram which is in front of you. This diagram is particularly giving the overall picture of the various process groups involved in the project management process. If you look at the diagram carefully, you can see it is a graph. I hope everybody knows what do you mean by graph. You have x and y axis, and you have something on x axis, you have some other parameter on y axis, and we try to map how the parameters which have been indicated on the x and y axis, what is the relationship between them, what happens with the changes in the parameter on x axis, correspondingly what is happening to the parameter which is on y axis. So similar to this, if you look at the diagram carefully, you can observe on x axis there is time, and on y axis there is parameter indicated, that is level of process interaction. Is it visible to everyone? Say yes in chat box if you are able to see the diagram clearly. Okay, so all are saying you are able to see the diagram clearly. Okay, just one small activity. Look at the diagram carefully and just type in your chat box which is the last process group. No need to type that process group. Simply you can type the first word, which is the last process group. If you are able to see the diagram clearly, look at the diagram and in chat box simply type the name of process group which is appearing at the end, at the last phase. Yes, quick. Good, good. Vaishnavi, Meenakshi, Pratiksha, Chaitali, good. Kirti, Jayashri, Bhagyashri, yes, good. So definitely now, Sandesh, Anagha, yes. So I can understand that you are able to see the diagram clearly. There is no ambiguity, there is no blur. So you can see there are different process groups which have been mentioned in the diagram, and there are some curves drawn. You can see some curves, they are drawn with a continuous line. There is a curve which is drawn with dotted line. There is a curve which is drawn with dark dotted line. There is a curve which is drawn with small dots, and there is a curve which is drawn with dash and dot. Correct? Now just tell me which process group is drawn with dark dashed line. Which process group is indicated by using the curve of dark dashed lines? See the diagram and just put your answer in the chat box. Okay, Jayashree, Anagha, good. Pratiksha, Sandesh, good. Sandesh, very short form. Bhagyashree, Chaitali. There are no shortcut to success. Okay, okay. Vaishnavi, that's great. Kirti, good. Okay, it's okay. So now you can see the curves have been indicated by different types of lines, as well as the curves, their heights, their widths, they are also different. Correct? So on x axis, you have the time, and you can see at the origin, that is at 0 0, where the two axes x and y, they are intersecting each other. You have a start point, and at the end you are observing a word which is finish. So this is start and finish for what, in your opinion? What you feel? This is start and finish of what? Whatever is your opinion, just put in chat box. Looking at the diagram, Anaga says a cycle. Okay. Any other views? It is starting of what and finish of what? Project management process. Project management process. Yes, anybody else? Process cycle. Interesting. Yes. Project management process. What about others? Are you there? Process cycle. Yeah. So it is nothing but the start and finish of your project. This particular diagram gives you the idea about the various project management process groups and how they are distributed over the lifespan or life cycle of your project. So the start is of your start of project, and finish is the end point, that is the finish of project. So when we have defined the project, we have also said that every project has a definite start and a definite end, definite finishing point. So these are the two important points, important stages in your project, that is start phase, starting point, and the end point or the finishing point. And between this start and finish two words, whatever is the timeline we have, it is nothing but the overall life cycle of your project. So this word you will hear frequently through any project manager or the people who are working in the project, that a project life cycle. So when I say project life cycle, it is nothing but the timeline between the start of your project to the end of your project. This entire time frame and the various activities involved in this time frame, that is nothing but the project life cycle or the life cycle of your project. Okay. Now, if you observe the five process groups or project management process groups, the first one is initiating process group. Okay. This initiating process group starts at the beginning, at the start point. You can observe that this particular process group is slowly having more and more levels of interaction in the beginning phase, and then it is going on reducing the level of interaction in the latter part of this. correct? When you observe this initiating process group, let us go to the next process group, that is planning process group. When initiating process group has started its working, initially the level of interactions are more. Similarly, the planning process group also starts at the start of your project, and you can see initially the level of interactions are less as compared to the initiating process groups. But as the initiating process groups interactions, level of interactions go on reducing, the planning process groups level of interactions go on increasing. Okay. Similarly, if you see the third group, that is executing process group. So initially at the start point, there is no much work. There is no much level of interaction for this executing process group. But you can see it gradually starts increasing after a certain duration, after the start point of your project, and then it goes on increasing rapidly. The level of process interaction for executing process group goes on increasing. You can see the executing process group has the highest level of process interaction among this all, and then it is going almost up to the finishing point. Then planning phase, if you see, it is completing before this finishing time, but it is also occupying more of your project lifespan, project life cycle, correct? Then if you go to the fourth, that is monitoring and control process group, you can see it also starts when the project begins, that is at the starting point. It is indicated by dash and dot line, and then it is having a limited amount of level of process interaction. But this monitoring and control process group, it is starting from the starting of project, and it is up to the entire life cycle of your project, that is up to finishing point. You will observe that this monitoring and control process group is having certain amount of level of interactions. At the intermediate phase, the level of process interactions are more. Initially they are less, finally they are less. But the monitoring and control process group, these processes, these activities, they are distributed over the entire lifespan of your project, that is from start point up to the finishing point. And then comes the last process group, that is closing process group. So you can see this closing process group is indicated by these dots. It starts somewhere at the middle of project life cycle. Initially the closing process group level of interactions are less, gradually they go on increasing. As the execution is coming to end, the closing process groups interactions goes on increasing, and then they are also, after a certain point, they are going on reducing. And when the project is at the final stage, that is finishing stage, the closing process groups interactions are also coming to 0. Okay. So this is the overall distribution of initiating process group, planning process group, executing process group, monitoring and control process group, and closing process group over the entire lifespan of the project, that is from the start point of project to the end point or finishing point of your project. And the level of interaction, they have been indicated by the height of the curves which are indicated. So you can see the highest level of process interactions, they are involved in executing process group. Secondly, the highest level of process interactions are involved in the planning process group. If you compare the width, then or the time frame over which the planning process group is involved, planning process group is almost having 75% of the project life cycle. Executing process group is also having almost 85 to 90% of the project life cycle. Monitoring and control process group is almost spread over the 100% of project life cycle, and initiating process group and closing process group, these are having the minimum time span required over the project project life cycle. So have you understood this? Have you understood the life cycle of project, the various project management process groups, and the level of process interactions which are involved in this particular various project groups? Sandesh, you want to ask something? Okay, you raised hand, so I thought you have some query. Anaga says yes. Vaishnavi, yes. So you have understood basically. So there are five process groups, and these are the way they have their level of process interactions and the spread of the process groups over the entire lifespan of your project, or within the lifespan of your project, how these process groups are distributed. Now, let us try to understand the various activities or the various processes which are actually involved in each process group, whatever we have defined. Okay, so we have defined, or the PMI, Project Management Institute, has defined five process groups: initiating process group, planning process group, executing process group, monitoring and control process group, and closing process group. Now, let us try to understand in each process group which activities or which processes they have been grouped together, or they have been included, or they have been incorporated. So let us take the first process group, that is initiating process group. So there are two processes involved, there are two activities involved: develop a project charter, and secondly, develop preliminary project scope statement. So two activities are involved in this initiating process group. So if you look at the diagram, initiating process group is spread across a small amount of time, a limited amount of time in the project life cycle. So this is a limited number of processes involved in this initiating process group. So there are only two processes. One is developing a project charter, that is, if you have gone to the glossary which has been given for your assignment, then you will find there is a word which is project charter. And project charter is nothing but what? It is the official document which is authorizing some person or some organization to execute the project. So that is one of the important activity in this initiating process group. Similarly, after authorizing someone to execute the project, secondly, in the initiating process group, we have to conduct, or we have to take into account the second process, second activity, that we have to develop the preliminary scope of your project, the statement for the preliminary statement for defining the scope of your project. So what do you mean by scope? So scope, when we say we are trying to define the project scope, means we are trying to understand, or we are trying to record which activities will be involved in the project and which activities will not be involved in your project. So what will be there and what won't be there. Let us say, try to compare this with our routine academic activity. Okay, let us say for this particular semester you have this subject project management. Now, if college is not authorizing any particular faculty member to teach this particular subject, what is going to happen? Will there be anyone to teach you this particular subject? If college is not authorizing anyone to teach this particular subject, what will happen? Will there be any faculty to teach this particular subject? Yes or no? If college is not authorizing somebody to teach this project management subject, how you will identify that who is the faculty member for this subject? Will it be easy? Sandesh says no. No. So it won't be easy, because let us say in our college there are 50 plus faculty members. So whether you will come and go to each and every faculty member to go on asking whether you will be teaching this subject, whether you will be teaching this subject or something like this. So it is not appropriate. So there has to be some formal mechanism. There has to be some formal document, some formal order through which somebody will be assigned with the responsibility of teaching this particular subject. Similarly, in your organization, if let us say you are working in an organization and you are working on multiple projects, you have many people who are with the designation project manager. Then if you want to undertake any project, you have to give the responsibility to some xyz project manager, that you will be project manager for this so and so abc project. If it is not given, the authorization is not given to somebody, that it will be just a chaos. Nobody will be taking into account that this project we have to execute, and everybody will be thinking that somebody else may be working on this project, so we are not supposed to take into account, or we are not supposed to look into this particular project. So that is one thing, that developing a project charter. Or if you want to give contract to execute the project to some organization, then you have to give certain official document, official letter to the organization, that you will be responsible for so and so project, and in this particular project you have to execute these and these activities. So that is nothing but developing the project charter. Similarly, after developing the project charter, the next thing what we should take into account in the initiating process group is developing the preliminary project scope statement. Now, what is this scope statement? We must understand that what exactly we are going to do in this particular project. So that scope statement, like somebody gives me the authority to teach you people this particular subject, that is project management. But let us say nobody gives me the syllabus of this particular subject. Then what is going to happen? Developing the syllabus is nothing but developing the scope statement for your project. If syllabus itself is not supplied to me, then I will not be understand what I need to teach and what I should not teach. What is important, what is not important, what is the requirement of this particular course from student point of view, from university point of view, I will not be able to understand, because I haven't been given with a scope statement. And as far as the subject is concerned, the scope statement is nothing but the syllabus. So syllabus is nothing but the scope statement for a subject to teach. Similarly, and why that, what that syllabus gives us, the syllabus will tell us that what is the contents of your subject, what is included. If something is not included in the syllabus statement, means that is not to be, not required to be studied as far as the final examinations are concerned, the testing of your project is concerned. Is it fine? Next, second process group is about the planning process group. So in planning process group, you can see there are so many activities involved. Why there are so many activities involved? You can see the diagram. Planning process group, it is spread over a 2 to 3 years period. 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 huge span in the project life cycle of your project. Almost 75% of project life cycle is covered in this planning process group. At the same time, if you say the level of process interactions, that is also second highest in the planning process group. So obviously there are multiple activities, multiple processes involved in this planning process group. So which are these activities? Develop project management plan, then planning the scope, defining the scope, creating the work breakdown structure, defining the various activities, sequencing the activities, estimating the resources for individual activity, also trying to estimate the duration, the time required to complete the activity, developing a schedule. So once you have identified the activities, you have defined the activities, you have sequenced the activities, you have estimated the resources required to complete the activity, and also you have estimated the duration required to complete that activity, then you can develop the tentative schedule of your project, that when the project will start, which activities will be executed at various stages, and finally when the project will be ready to deliver to the customer or the end user. Then cost estimation and cost budgeting. So we have to go for the activities, checking how much is the cost estimation of the activities, and finally preparing the budget for the entire project. Then quality planning. So what kind of quality checks, quality expectations from the customer, quality capabilities of our project team and processes, and then what type of quality we are able to deliver to the customer. So that is nothing but your quality planning. Then planning the human resources, communication planning. So human resources, which human resources we are going to utilize, whether every human resource which will be involved in the project will be in house, or there will be some external human resources required, whether any consultants are to be appointed, whether people are to be appointed on contract, or they should be taken as regular, and so many things. What type of skills are required to execute the project? So these all things will be in HR planning. Communication planning, what will be the way of communication? So when we say about the communication, it is about the communication within the organization, outside the organization. Within the organization, the communication will be either horizontal communication at the same level within the team, within the various departments, or the communication may be from top to bottom or from bottom to top, that is vertical communication. Horizontal communication, intra department communication, inter departments communication, cross functional communication. So many types of communications will be involved. So there has to be some communication planning, that how the communication will take place, who will be the authority to communicate the things to the different stakeholders. Then planning the risk management. So which will be the risks and how to go for responding the risks, so that their effects will not be much on your project. And finally the planning the purchases and acquisitions for this particular project. So these are the varieties of processes, variety of activities which are involved in the planning process group. So you can see there are a number of activities, and that's why the span over which the planning process group is spread in the project life cycle, and the level of process interactions, that is very high, that is second largest in this particular project management process groups. Then executing process group, next group is, here also you can see the executing process group involves direct and manage project execution, perform quality assurance, acquiring the project team, developing the project team, information distribution, that is communication again, request seller response, and select the sellers. So this is the core part of your project. Actually, project execution is going to happen in this particular executing process group. So in this case, variety of activities which are required for execution of your project, we have to direct and manage those activities. We have to perform the quality assurance processes. Then about the project team, we have to acquire as well as we have to develop it to perform the requisite task. Then we have to go for information distribution, requesting the seller response. So the sellers who are involved, we have to go for checking the request for their responses, and we have to select the sellers. The next is about the monitoring and controlling process group. So here also you can see this monitoring and controlling process group is also spread throughout the project life cycle. Almost 95 to 100% we can say this monitoring and controlling process group has the spread on the project life cycle. So that's why you can see there are again variety of activities, number of activities they are involved. So the various activities involved are monitoring and controlling the project work. So actual execution of the project, we have to go for monitor and control the various activities. We have to go for integrate the change control. So if there are any changes required, if there are any modifications required, so we have to take into account the changes, and we have to integrate this change control within your project life cycle. Then scope control, scope verification, controlling the schedule. If we feel that the schedule is going beyond the expected boundaries, expected timelines, then we have to make certain activities which will be controlling, which will be bringing back the schedule to the normal. Cost control. So if we feel that the cost is exceeding than the budgeted, then what should be done to control the cost? What measures we have to take to. So in the beginning only we have seen that the triple constraints of project are nothing but what? Scope goals, time goals, and cost goals. So these are nothing but three important parameters. So scope should not go, or it should not deviate from what has been defined. The schedule should not go beyond the given timeline, and the cost of your project should not also exceed the budgeted amount. So that's why this monitoring and controlling process group has a very, very important role in your entire project, because this is going to monitor the progress as far as your scope, schedule, and cost is concerned, and then it will be having the controlling mechanism to keep the things within the scope, within the schedule, and within the cost of or budget. Then performing the quality control. So simply following this scope, schedule, and cost is not important. We have to deliver the expected quality to the customer. So that's why we have to go for performing the quality control. At the same time, we have to manage the project team. We have to go for performance evaluation, monitoring the performance, reporting the performance to the HR department, manage the stakeholders, their expectations, their requirements. We have to also monitor the risks, and we have to control them so that they will not hamper the scope, schedule, cost, quality, etc. of your project. And the contract administration. So whatever contracts we are going to execute for this particular project, the administration of those contracts, that also we have to take into account in this monitoring and control process. And finally, the last project group is about the close or closing process group. In this case, we have to consider two activities. One is close the project, that is finish the project, closing all the activities involved in the project, and closing the contract. So in earlier we have to go for administration of the contract, and here we have to go for closing the contract. We have to take into account what was the contract document, what things were expected through this contract, and whether the things have been done as per the contract document, and then the final formalities for completion or closing of the contract, either maybe with some vendor or with some person or some with some consultant or with some agencies or different firms, as per the requirement whatever contracts have been made, or the contract may be between your firm and the customer to supply the project to the particular customer. So various contracts will be involved in the project. So we have to go for closing the project and closing the contracts, and this closing should be a smooth one, so that should be taken into account in the closing process group. So this what we have considered was about the project management process groups. There are, as we have discussed, there are 5 process groups: initiating process group, planning process group, executing process group, monitoring and control process group, and finally the closing process group. Now, second thing what we have discussed in the beginning, that today we are going to learn about two different things. One is project management process group, and second is about the project management knowledge areas. Okay, so I am representing this tabular format in front of you, where the first column is about the knowledge areas. You can see there are various knowledge areas listed one below another, correct? And in the first row, these are the project management process groups, 5 process groups, whatever we have discussed, they have been mentioned. So check whether this diagram is visible to you, and if the diagram is visible to you, just check the first column for knowledge areas and tell me which is the knowledge area corresponding to number 7. You can put in chat box which is the knowledge area which is corresponding to number 7. You can see there are multiple numbers given: 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, likewise. PMC. What do you mean by PMC? Sandesh? Or you mean to say PCM? Okay. Okay. Project cost management. Yes, that's correct. Corresponding to point number 7, the knowledge area which is mentioned is project cost management. Yes. So you can see whatever the processes we have seen till now: develop project charter, develop project management plan, or you can say identify the stakeholders, so many things. So these all activities, they have been put under the various heads, and it has been linked: the initiating process group and project integration management, project scope management, project time management, project cost management, project quality management. So you can see, if I let us say the first project integration management knowledge area, it is 4. So in this particular project integration management knowledge area, there are total 6 processes involved. There are total 6 processes involved. Which are the 6 processes? Develop project charter, develop project management plan, direct and manage the project work, monitor and control project work, perform integrated change control, close project or phase. So you can say it is 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, 4.4, 4.5 and 4.6. So this 4 stands for project integration management. Point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4, point 5, point 6. These are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 activities in this particular knowledge area. And these activities, according to the type of activity, they have been grouped under the various process groups of your project management. Correct? So you can see develop project charter is involved in project integration management, and also it is involved in the first project process group, that is initiating process group. Okay, so likewise you can see, I will just go for enlarging this. I think now it is more clear compared to earlier. You are able to see now more clearly, yes or no? Yes, Meenakshi says yes, Sandesh says yes. Okay. So now you can see project scope statement. It starts with planning process group. So 5.1, there is nothing in the initiating process group, but it starts with second planning process group. So you can see plan scope management, collect requirements, define scope, create work breakdown structure. These are the variety of activities which are involved in project scope management, and they are related to the planning process group. Similarly, validate the scope, control the scope. They are in the monitoring and control process group. Going to the next, that is projects time management, plan schedule management, define the activities, sequence the activities, estimate activity resources, estimate the activity durations, develop the schedule. This is under what? Planning process group, and it is related to the project time management, control the schedule. Correct? So likewise, this table gives you the idea in project cost management, planning cost management, estimating cost, determining the budget. They are coming under the planning process group, and controlling the cost, it is coming under the monitoring and control process group. Project quality management, it is about plan the quality management, it is in planning process group. Perform quality assurance, it is in executing process group. Control quality, it is in monitoring and control process group. HR management, project HR management knowledge area. Plan human resource management is in planning process group. Acquiring, developing and managing project team is in the executing process group. Managing the communication, actually executing process group. Controlling the communication is in monitoring and control process group. Project risk management, plan risk management, identifying the risk, performing the qualitative risk analysis, performing quantitative risk analysis, planning the risk responses. This everything is under planning process group. And control the risks, it is under the monitoring and controlling process group. As far as the procurement management is concerned, plan procurement management is in planning process group. Conducting the procurements means actually having your procurements executed, it is an executing process group. Controlling the procurements is in monitoring and control, and closing the procurements, it is in closing process group. Similarly, last, that is project stakeholder management, identifying the stakeholders, it is in the initiation phase. Planning the stakeholder management, it is in planning process group. Managing the stakeholder engagement, it is in executing process group. And controlling the stakeholder engagement, it is in monitoring and control process group. So we can see there are variety of activities involved. So if you take any particular project, there are so many activities involved, right from developing the project charter to finally this closing procurements, closing project or closing phase. There are variety of things which are involved, and these all activities, once they have been executed properly, we can say the project is executed successfully or the project is successful. Now, as you are MBA students, MMA students, you can go for checking your own domain and try to map which knowledge area and which process group we are more related to. So it is up to you and your specialization. If let us say somebody is from HR management as a specialization, then you can see there is a separate knowledge area which is defined for you people, that is project human resource management. So which activities you will be required to perform. Some people were having some doubt in the mind that why this project management subject is given to MMS students, what is the objective, what is the role of we as a student, as a MMS student in this particular project management. So you can see, if let us say you are a human resource management student, then which activities you are going to perform: plan human resource management, acquiring the project team, developing the project team, and managing the project team. So here human resource management will come into picture. If let us say you are a student of finance, then project cost management, planning cost management, estimating the cost, determining the budget, controlling the cost. So these all are under the project cost management. If you are, let us say, operations student, then you may be more involved with respect to the execution part. That is, you will be involved in this time management, planning the schedule, defining the activities, sequencing the activities, resources, activity duration, developing the schedule, direct and manage the project work, this performing the quality assurance, managing the communication, conducting the procurements, etc. etc. If you are a person from marketing, maybe you will be more involved with respect to marketing your project to the customers. You may not be directly involved with the knowledge areas, but you will be involved in the final stage of your project, that is delivering the project to the customer and marketing the project in the market to the customers. So that will be the domain in which you will be able to require. Might be some people from IT, they may be more involved in the planning process group, developing the project management plan. There is a term which is called as project management office, PMO. And in this project management office, all this data compilation, then communication, processing the data, finding out the conclusions. So different activities are involved. So more software based IT people, they may be involved in this particular phase of your project. So this is our today's discussion. We have discussed basically about the various project management process groups, and we have just gone for the various knowledge areas of project management. Total there are 10 knowledge areas. Earlier to this fifth edition, up to fourth edition, there were only 9 knowledge areas. Project stakeholder management, this knowledge area was introduced first time in 2013 in the fifth edition of Project Management Institute's PMBOK, that is Project Management Body of Knowledge Handbook. Okay, so this knowledge area number 10, that is 10th knowledge area, it has been introduced for the first time in 2013.